It's a great honor for me to speak here today in memory of Brett as one of his close friends. It's a daunting task trying to do justice to such an opportunity and responsibility with you as family and loved ones assembled here, but here I go. I've known Brett and his family honestly for as long as I can remember. Our families have been friends since my folks moved to Bellingham when I was a toddler. Growing up in Bellingham, or the Ham as Brett liked to call it, we naturally shared a great love for the outdoors, in particular the mountains and the water. And our shared favorite being the San Juan Islands that you see right in front of you. Brett and I were always in the same grade, but went to different elementary schools and middle schools here in town. But we would see each other frequently at family gatherings and events around town and also out at the lake. And I remember feeling a kinship with Brett very early on because he was a skinny little kid, small for his age like I was. Scrawny might even be an appropriate word, and I actually cleared that with Mike and Maya earlier today. And Brett was also nearsighted and wore some pretty thick glasses at a relatively early age, which gave him a bit of a bookish quality as I remember. And to boot, he was often reading whenever I ran into him, and most often, larger books than appropriate for his age. And I swear, at age 9, I thought I saw him reading some missioner novel at some point while I was reading Hardy Boys and Choose Your Own Adventure. But I recall being really impressed with him, and I thought, man, this guy is going on to big things. And sure enough, he was. I must say that I came to know Brett best during our shared years at Seaham High School here in Bellingham. We came of age together, and that makes for a special bond. I remember showing up for my first days of school and was thrilled to see that Brett had a locker next to me. We hadn't seen as much of each other during middle school, and I remember one of the first questions I had, "Where are your glasses?" And so Brett yanked his eyelid and popped out this clear pebble of a thing, which he then popped in his mouth and then stuck back in his eye. It said, "Contacts." And I remember thinking, that is disgustingly awesome. So truly, I think Brett was one of the earliest adopters of hard contact lenses, apparently at age 10. And Mike was telling me how thrilled Brett was to have these and get rid of his glasses. And at age 10 and beyond, he never once complained about sticking these hard things in his eyes. And I mention this because this brings up the subject of Brett's famous blue eyes. Legendary bright blue eyes that make the rest of ours look commonplace and dingy. Maya reminded me of the fact that often people thought that these were fake, colored contact lenses, but they were real. And one look in the eyes of his beautiful kids shows that Brett's blue eyes live on. Back to high school, I must say that Brett seemed to have a jump start on things both physiologically and socially. While I was somewhat of a late bloomer, Brett, I swear, had a pretty full batch of chest hair in his freshman year and was working on a pretty good 5 o'clock shadow by third period. And I think that early boost of testosterone probably encouraged him socially, because I remember coming back to the locker one day to see Brett surrounded by a group of senior cheerleaders, his back to the locker, holding court, and providing an early example, I think, of his networking prowess. So at the time, I remember, I found myself thinking again, this guy's going on to big things. I'm sticking with him. It was serendipitous that our class just congregated together for our 20th year reunion less than 2 weeks ago. So many classmates have commented how much they enjoyed catching up with Brett, and that he was really the life of the party. I've asked the help of some of our common friends to let me know the qualities that they admired in Brett the most. And almost unanimously, his dedication came up. Dedication to family above all, dedication to friends, dedication to his studies, dedication to sport, dedication to his business pursuits, honestly, dedication in about everything he did. And also very important was his dedication to having fun and ensuring that those around him did too. Now, most of you know what a great runner Brett was, as Linda mentioned, with an amazing high school career that he continued at Stanford. And he was truly blessed with natural talent, but he trained harder than anyone I've ever known. Our group of buddies would plan to meet up often, and he would say he'd be there after his run, after training. And sure enough, so often we would pass him in the car, running on North Shore, pounding the pavement and chalking up the miles. And due to his hard work and dedication, Brett was rightfully proud of his achievements. Nancy Cheney, who's another CM friend who I think is here today, shared a good story with me, which I'll read now. Nancy said, "A distinct memory I have of Brett is this. We were sitting in Mr. Lockhart's college riding class and chatting about our weekends. I mentioned running around Lake Padden, which I occasionally did for fun and exercise. Brett reminded me that he held the 5-kilometer course record at Padden of 14 minutes and some odd seconds, a record that probably stands to this day. Yeah, I know, I said. I told him it took my friends and me close to double that to run around the lake. But Brett didn't seem to mind. He was really enthusiastic about running of any variety. Brett was among the competitive elite, but recognized the casual jogger as well. Lake Padden welcomed us all. I love Padden. Every chance I get to run there for the rest of my days, I will run thinking of Brett, his fleet feet on those trails, and the exceptionally talented runner he was." And I love this story because it's classic Brett, really. Knowing him like the rest of you, I didn't see such a comment as boastful, but rather that he was making a connection with a matter-of-fact statement of an accomplishment that he worked so hard for. Later on, Brett and I were lucky to have shared important milestones in our lives. We were at each other's weddings, and in fact, Brett, Mike, and Maya came all the way to Spain for mine. We shared some good years in the California Bay Area around the time that Riley was born. And I had a memorable visit with him and Amy and Riley and Aspen in London during their years there, and met my wife in Spain a week after. These memories have been floating through my mind so vividly this past week, and even more so because I have been seeing more of Brett lately. I just moved back to the northwest of Portland and have been making more frequent trips back to Bellingham. I feel very fortunate to have had the chance to sit down with him and spend some quality time with him recently. It had been a tough past year for Brett on many levels, but he had rounded the corner and was truly hitting his stride. And I feel he was happy as ever and so proud of Riley and Aspen. And when I last saw him a couple weekends ago, we talked about the future, which he was really looking forward to. Our fathers were away on a 2-week-long fishing trip together in Rivers Inlet at the time, and we both commented with some envy how cool that was. We were looking forward to getting out in the San Juans together more often and one day doing a trip like that. The fact is, Brett was one of those lifelong friends that you rarely meet in this life. I'm so blessed to have shared so many adventures with him, and I'm truly saddened that future plans and adventures have been cut short. I really thought we two would be a couple of old farts tooling around in these islands together. And I'm really going to miss that, Brett. So, finally I wanted to read some words by Storm Jameson, which Maya shared with me this morning. And I think that resonates the spirit with which Brett lived his life. There is only 1 minute in which you are alive. This minute, here and now. The only way to live is by accepting each minute as an unrepeatable miracle, which is exactly what it is, a miracle and unrepeatable. So let us all endeavor to live for and savor the moment as Brett did, with enthusiasm.